You are the first person that people often come across. If you're a guest coming in via Peers entrance, or you're a member of the public coming into Peers lobby, you're greeted by a House of Lords doorkeeper.
The table office essentially means that it's where members come if they want to table questions or business for the order paper in general. We give them procedural advice, and we also create the document that tells members what's coming up in the coming days.
I'm the head of the Public Bill Office in the Legislation Office in the House of Lords. That means we're the little team that looks after all of the bills, the proposed changes to the law that the House is considering. We produce all of the documentation, all of the briefing that lets the House make the decisions that it needs to make.
So our role as clerks at the table is to record decisions that the House is taking and to provide procedural advice to all members who might require it, and particularly communicating with the front bench on the government side and the opposition, as well as the deputy on the woolsack who is overseeing proceedings.
Amendment is by leave withdrawn.
My job includes making sure that all the broadcast works for the House of Commons and the House of Lords committees and the Chamber, and overseeing that to make sure that the world sees what's happening.
Our job is to report everything which goes on in this chamber and put it into the official report, which is unbiased and accurate and gives a fair reflection of what actually went on in the chamber.
My job involves carefully cleaning the heritage aspects of the House of Lords and the Palaces of Westminster.
Presentation is key. When we first come in the morning, we're out of our civvies, into uniform. Make sure that your shirts are ironed, that you look presentable, and then make your way down to the principal floor. Before we head down, we have to make sure that the attendance tablets have all been put on charge for the day. Get ourselves prepared, make sure that we know what's coming up on today's business, check that the annunciator system's running correctly. And then when we head downstairs, it's unlocking the chamber. The police have already done the search. So once the chamber's unlocked, it's making sure that guests are all booked in that will be coming to attend the proceedings that day, and liaising with the clerks to set up the chamber ready for the day's business. They might seem like objects when you just look at them, but the mace has huge significance within the team. That we get to carry and assist with the carrying of the mace is a huge honour, really.
So when a member comes in to table a question, they often walk through this door waving a piece of paper on which they've written a draft of the question. We talk it through with them, and we might make some suggestions to clarify the essence of what it is they're getting at. We'll make some house style adjustments, but generally speaking, we'll just do what we can to make sure that they are most likely to get the information that they're after. If we can do that while they're sat there, great. Occasionally we'll say we need to do a bit more thinking or research on it, in which case we'll take it from them, they'll go away, and we'll send them a draft when we've got one ready.
What we're doing is trying to help a member to draft an amendment that will make sense to the House and let the House have the debate and the vote that it wants to have, rather than it being legally perfect text. So it's absolutely common sense, plain English, trying to put forward a proposition that everybody can understand. We're trying to do that with helping a member see where it needs to fit in the bill and how to make it simple and clear. Sometimes members are looking to us to sort of agree with what they're saying to us, isn't it perfect sense that it needs to be this way rather than that way? And then we have to be careful not to agree too heartily, because we are impartial, neutral public servants. So sometimes we have to navigate that conversation a bit, but it's always really rewarding to be working with members who are doing work that matters to them.
One of our sort of key roles at the table is to be recording the decisions of the House, and you might very quickly need to be sort of marking up your hard copy marshalled list. And then you've also got to make sure the minutes are up to date. We also have an electronic copy. So making sure you're keeping that concentration to follow what the House is deciding, but also that they're taking the decisions in the right order when you've got things like amendments to amendments, which don't happen quite as often, can be challenging.
So each day getting ready for a live broadcast for the House of Lords involves the crew getting here about an hour and a quarter before the actual event starts. We get an order paper given to us every day and the Lord Speaker's brief, which is kind of like our running order. It's as close as we get to a script because everything's live. We do camera checks to make sure everything's working. We always have a sound operator in the chamber itself who checks the sound for the broadcast, but also for the PA in the room as well. The crew in here will expect to be in from the start of proceedings to the end of proceedings. They can go into the night, it can go through the night. Sometimes we don't know when it's going to finish. It's quite a skill for the director and the operators that not only are they skilled in their profession, they have to know a lot about the business of the House, how legislation works, what's going to happen next. The Lords has different bits of business that are done specifically, so being one step ahead of knowing what's happening, as well as knowing the names of the peers and who's being referred to. So it's a very skilled job.
We take 5-minute turns where we come in here, we watch what's going on, we make notes of what's going on, particularly things which may not be said, but we just need to be aware of, people gesturing to each other and referring to each other. So those 5 minutes of actually being here and seeing what's going on are crucial just for the things that you won't be able to get off the audio later. And then we go back to the office where there is an audio recording waiting. We have about an hour for each 5 minutes turn to get that turned into a Hansard report. So that means listening to the audio, getting all the words down, and then starting to put together the House style of things. Our style guide is very, very long and very exhaustive. There's also, during that hour, we'll check the factual side of things. You know, a peer might have quoted a statistic and it's not actually correct, and you have to think, well, was that just a slip of the tongue? And the peers will often come up to read as well, so they might query something we've done or whatever, and we'll explain why we've put it like that. So a lot can happen in that hour.
I'd say the biggest challenge is working in a working building and cleaning heritage around the business that goes on, and understanding that despite the fact that it's a historic building, a lot of times people will tread mud on the carpets or corners of doors will get bashed by trolleys, and our team are responsible for making sure that this is still cared for in the proper way.
It's really quite fun to work out what the real crux of the matter is, and to have to suddenly become quite expert in something that you've never thought about before, whether that's water regulation or trail hunting. So that's intellectually quite a fun little puzzle. And then it's just really satisfying on the members' behalf when they've walked in with something that they're really passionate about or really interested in or really concerned about, to know that you've done a good job of helping them craft a question that will get the information they want from government. Both of those things make it quite an enjoyable task.
Every day is different, but there's always an excitement, and when there are those big days where there are lots of votes coming, you can definitely feel a buzz in the air. But then there's always tomorrow's business as well, so it's never like you have a great dramatic moment and then everybody sits back. There's always yesterday's decisions, today's decisions, tomorrow's decisions. It's a constant kind of flow of activity. I love that what we do every day feels really important, and I get home at the end of the day and I hear about the things that we've done today on the news, and I get up in the morning and I hear on the news the things that we're going to be looking at today, and I love that about it.
It's just amazing being in here when laws are being debated and being made. You're often quite alone in the sense that it's just one clerk at the table. There's quite a lot of responsibility on you to give the right advice, particularly to the government and opposition front benches, but also to back benches who come up. And then, of course, the Deputy Speaker on the Woolsack is really relying on you to guide them, to give them the right advice. So it's potentially quite a lot of pressure, and it's just wonderful to be in here, part of proceedings.
We do hours and hours of this, and it's pretty flawless what we do. Every day it's live. Parliament itself produces so much live content, more than most TV channels across Europe and the world, so there's a lot of pride in that and making sure that it goes out and it's correct for news channels around the world, and also for our Parliament TV website.
Hansard's important because we live in a democracy and everybody has the right to know exactly what's going on, so nothing can be left out or omitted. It's for the sake of transparency. Although we have a very wide and diverse media in this country, each media outlet by their nature is going to prioritise one thing over another, whereas Hansard is just everything that happens, it's here, you can go and look at it, it will appear online within 3 or 4 hours of us doing the reporting, and it's there forever afterwards as well.
I mostly enjoy being able to be so close to such delicate objects and handmade design. I constantly find new features and faces and little tiny motifs that have been left around the palace that I don't think many people get to see because it's hard to get so close to such beautiful design. It feels very surreal and just really special to be in such an important and beautiful building that is my job every day.
Message to the Commons.
It's very important to be part of that continuity of history and that tradition that really stabilises the running of the House and our democracy in general.